Hello again. Let's see. Well, last tutorial, air quotes tutorial, was kind of fun. And Alsheranias in the comments was like asking what else can you do with the transform node, and I was like, I don't know. Let's take a look and try to do something. I have kind of an idea. Let's see if we can make this vision happen. Talking about some kind of a intro screen for a stream or something. Yeah, let's get right into it. Let's start with one thing that was asked the last time too, not directly in the YouTube comments, but because my timelines, if I create a new timeline, start with 0, and per default, DaVinci in the preferences, if you go to the user settings and then editing, starts with 1 hour. And for some reason, I like it if it starts with 0. So you can set it here if you want to have the 2, if you don't mind. It's just a kind of an offset, so it's not really functional in anything. Yeah, so we have the timeline already. Let's check the settings because I don't know what the project is. It's okay. Set to 24. Let's delete the timeline again, and let's see. You might want to get the project settings in general. You can do that here on the project settings, master settings. Let's go for 60 frames per second here. 1080p is fine. And what I want to do too is image scaling, center crop with no resizing. In that case, the image, whatever you import, is placed in the actual size and not scaled. And let's save this. Let's start with a new timeline. Now it should be fine. Let's just check. Yeah. For our intro thingy, and the first thing we want to add is fusion composition. This is it here? It's under the effects. I'm going to add a fusion composition, which has nothing in it, but we are going to edit that and change that. Let's go to the fusion tab. And let's get our avatar concept, the image from last time, into that thing and connect it to the output. And there we have the head. A few basics maybe about that one. So I'm not sure why. If you're in the edit page, you can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out the viewport. If you're in the fusion thingy, that's just for up and down. If you press the control key, you can zoom in and out. If you hold the middle mouse button, you can drag the image around for positioning it. So I'm always forgetting to press the control key. So next thing is we added the media, and this is, yeah, it's a huge image. It's 2,500 pixels square nearly. We don't want the composition to be that way. We want the composition to be our media size. So we start with a background. We're going to add the background to the output. So we have the 1080p setup, and then we're going to merge into that our talking head, so we can drag it directly onto the line. The background is in the background, and the talking head is in the foreground. So the other thing is we have the dual screen setup active. Well, not the dual screen setup active, the dual view setup. So you can, for every node, if you hover over it, you have 2 dots above that. And you can select where on those 2 screens the content of this node is presented. So we can view the image here on the left. Maybe let's rename it to avatar. So we can view the avatar here and the media output on the right. So you can compare things. In that case, I don't want to use it for now. So we can disable that here with that button. So we just have the one view, which is fine for now. So let's move that over here and the avatar, and let's start with the actual thing, and let's go, control space was control space, control key space bar to add things. We want to do the transform effect. Let's add the transform effect. Also, shift key, pressing the shift key and dragging it onto the line adds it automatically. Okay. What's next? So what actually can we do? So the transform node is active. We have the controls here on the right side. If you don't see the controls, it's the inspector. So activate that one to show the controls here. Same for the spline editor window or other things we are not gonna use for now. First things first. So what are the controls of the transform node? First of all, the last time with the talking head tutorial, we used the aspect ratio to transform some things. So that's one we know. We can change the size of things very easily, and the rotation. Real quick edit in post. What I forgot to mention is you can obviously disable the size and aspect edit, and then you get a separate slider for the like vertical and horizontal size, so you can stretch it out in both directions if you want, but be aware the graphic design police might come and arrest you if you do that without proper reason. You have a pivot point. The pivot point is the point of origin for the transformation. So if we move that, let's reset the size. If we move that over to this corner, for example, and then we adapt the size, like it's going from this direction. Also the rotation is going to be on that corner. And the position of the center, obviously, where the central point of the image is. In this case, the pivot point, kind of. It makes sense, right? We can flip the image. That's kind of, can be practical in some cases. And we have an edge calculation thingy. Is it an edge calculation thingy? It's what the thing is going to do with the edges. So we can go to wrap it up, so it's gonna multiply that and repeat it all over the place. And we can duplicate it. I'm not sure what duplicate does, honestly, though. Mirror is like the same with the wrap, not the same with the wrapping, similar to the wrapping, but it's going to mirror the image, obviously, right? So now I already can see, could do crazy things here. Anyway, filter method is how the scaling is calculated. So if you scale it down or scale it up, there are a ton of algorithms to calculate. Try out what works best for you. Go for Lanczos. How do you even pronounce this? Okay, you can invert the transformation, which is like doing the opposite of your settings. In this case, the size is huge because I have it very small. So if I make the size huge, it's gonna be small, and also the direction of the rotation is different. Anyway. Flatten transform, I'm not really sure what this is doing. Gonna read up on that. Okay, so if you go up here and click this thing, you can reset the node to its original settings. Okay, let's start by resizing it again. Kind of about this size. Let's zoom in here a bit. Let's go with the Lanczos one. Lanczos, Sir Lancelot one, whatever. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to the background node and set the alpha channel, that's the transparency, to 0, so we can see the background, which means if we are adding something later in our timeline below the composition, we're gonna see it. We're gonna need that later. So my idea was to get the talking head into the scene, like from the left into the scene, and then getting out of the scene. So a very easy, very basic transformation thing with the center point, just moving the center point. So let's go add the keyframes. We can move the little red line here by clicking and dragging. So let's go to the start. Let's go not to the start, let's go to the end point where we want the animation to finish. So I'd say let's try 40. It's a bit more than half a second. So we're 60 frames per second, which means 30 frames is half a second, 60 frames is a full second. So here, I don't know, sounds good. So let's set the keyframe here. And then we go to the beginning, and then we move the X position out of view. So we are here, and thing is moving in, right? And then in the spline editor, we are going to smooth it out a little bit. We select that keyframe and pull that anchor over here, and that gonna be here, which means the movement speed is not linear, but in the beginning very fast, and it slows down before reaching the point, which makes for a little, yeah, a more natural movement into position. And then we are going to make a little head wiggle before we head out, right? So here, let's wait maybe 20 frames and start here. So at 60, we're gonna keyframe rotation keyframe. Then we're going to go left, right, I think. Yeah, let's go with 10. We can move the points later, but let's start with something soft. So we're gonna move to the left for, I don't know, about 15 degrees. Then we go 10 keyframes again, move 15 degrees into the other direction, and another 10 keyframes and reset it. So link, blop, blop. And obviously we're gonna smooth that out too. But this time we're gonna just select it, the keyframes. We're gonna select the smooth curve down here. So if we zoom into that, oh, it zooms everything. So let's block the displacement. Okay, so we have kind of a smoother curve. You know what? We're gonna add something. We're gonna add a scale, scaling, a size scaling. We're gonna add a keyframe here, and we're gonna add a keyframe here, and in the middle, it's about between those two. I'm gonna scale it up a little bit. It's maybe too much. Yeah, it feels a bit harsh. So what we can do is select this one, and maybe just we can enter the value right here. So 2.5. Yeah, that's better. Also, I'm gonna smooth it out too. I think that's good. And let's get a feeling for that. Yeah, about 130. We're gonna start heading out again. So again, a position keyframe. For the displacement, I don't see it, it's up here. What I was about to do, yeah, we're going out. So we're going out to the right. We had 40 keyframes to get into it. So let's go for 170. And we're moving out to the right about the same distance, right? And we are also going to smooth it out manually this time, so we can get this really harsh, not harsh, but extreme values. Because if you just go with that one, you get a soft curve, but I want to have it differently. So like we are going we're slowing down to the point of stop when we get in, and the other movement is we're accelerating slowly out. So not instantly or at speed, but yeah, starting slowly and then flushing away. Also, I'm gonna add a little bit of spice, air quote spice, to that. I'm gonna add a motion blur. And you can find the motion blur in the settings of the transform node. So just go over to the settings and activate the motion blur. And you can play around with the setting, check what looks good for you. If you increase the quality, you get a better blurring, kind of, and more steps in between, you know. But it's going to increase the calculation time a lot, and also we're quite small here and the movement is very quick, so it's just for a few frames. It's not gonna change a lot if you increase the quality by an absurd amount. But let's try 4. Okay, so what do we have? We have the wiggle, and we have it kind of looping. Let's take a look at that in the editor, because here we have the real time, kind of. Activate the loop. Okay, I'm having a thought. So the end thing is too long, but instead of shortening it, we're gonna improve. Let's think. So the head heads out to the right, and then it starts again to the left. So that's why he has to get back. So let's do that. So let's go here. I don't know. Let's start at this position. Go back to the controls. Activate a keyframe for the center, and I don't know. Move it across the screen here, and we're gonna keep this one linear because the head is running back to the side here again, right? Let's see how this feels now. Coming in, doing the bubble, heading out, rolling back. Gonna roll back. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna roll back. So we're going to go here, and we're gonna add a rotation. I'm gonna start the keyframe here, and here we're going to add another keyframe with, like, what's a full rotation? It's 360 degrees. Heh, they see me rolling. Do your own memes. And now it makes sense that he comes back from the left again. You know what? This might be, let's lock this, unlock this one. What's the double of 360? It's a 720. It might work better with 2 rotations. Oh yeah, actually it does. It feels more natural. Let's see, let it cache, and now it should run super smooth. Perfect. Okay. I'm having another idea. We need a fancy thing. You know what I was thinking about? So after that head bobble here, wouldn't it be fun if we use what we learned in the previous tutorial, like with the talking mouth thing, if we give him a wink? Like, you know, he does the bubble, winks at us, and then heads out and rolls back. And we're gonna do that inside of the Fusion composition this time. It's gonna be rough. Okay, but bear with me. We're gonna manage. So, how are we going to do this? We have this transformation here. That's the media out. That's the final merge. That's the background for the size of the composition. This transform is the final transform. What are we gonna do? So, first, so what did we learn the last time? We needed two separate layers, one of the head without the mouth and one with the mouth separately, so we can scale it and don't see the mouth if the scale went too small. So we're gonna need the same, but this time only for the eye. So first we're gonna make a version where he doesn't have that's his right, so from our view, left one, his right eye, so he doesn't have the right eye. So we are going to add a background node. Pick the color, drag and drop just, and select the skin tone. And then we need a merge node, put it on the line. We have the avatar in the background and the color is going to merge in the foreground, and it's covering just a tiny bit. Why? Because the transform node affects the background scale too. So the full background is also scaled down to 0.2, 20%. But it's okay in this case because we don't need a lot. We can just work with that what we have here. We need to add a circle mask. That's good enough. And we're gonna move the mask over to the eye. We grab the corner here and scale it down a bit and move it so it's just covering the eye. Right? So we have the person without eye. And I think if we select this and call it a group, we can group this, and when double click we can expand the group again. So we clean up our node setup a little bit. Let's press F2 to rename it, and that's the eye avatar. Okay, and now we need the opposite thing. We need the avatar. Let's copy it, like Control C. Close this. Put the avatar here. And yeah, let's take a look at that one. So we are viewing only the avatar, the copy. And we can take the mask again from here, copy the mask, put it into here. Oh, it's different because of the transformation. And now we don't have the transformation. Doesn't matter. We can move it back into position, make it smaller. No, I wanted to close that. And this now is only the eye. And we need to merge that again. Maybe group it first. We can rename it here too. Yeah, there's F2 or rename it over the context menu. Eye only, right? Now we get the media out, and if we merge these two groups together, so the no eye version is in the background and the eye version is in the foreground, he has an eye again. Perfect. And now we can add another oh, it was selected already. We can add another transform node. Shift key, hold it, put it directly on the line. Now we can take and do the aspect thing. Perfect. In this case, we actually don't need to move the pivot point a lot because it is kind of on a perfect position for that animation already. So it doesn't matter. Now let's animate this. Where did we say we want to have it? Let's go back to this transformation node. So here he's heading out again. That means in between there. So let's start here for the wink, maybe at a frame 100. Yeah, that should be good. Like let's go for the select. Let's select the transform node here. We could actually, I think we could move it into that group too. I think ungroup this, and then we group this together. Group and rename F2 I only. Okay. I mean, don't know if it makes sense. Does a little bit. Okay, so reset the aspect. We are starting here with a keyframe, and at 130 it's moving out. So before 130 it should be at the original value already. And kind of in the middle, I want to squeeze the eye down for, not completely, so like here. I think that's good. Yeah, that looks kind of fine, but we are going to you know, that makes sense. Let's rename them I transform, so we know what the group is here. Everything is locked, so we don't accidentally move other keyframes, but the aspect one is here, and what I want to do is obviously smooth it out and move it a bit, because I think if you hold shift you can move it only on one axis, so you don't change the value accidentally. So because I think the eye is closing quicker and opening slower, that feels natural. And we're gonna do one more spicy thing. We're gonna overshoot a little bit. Then I may move the keyframe out here, so the eye is getting bigger and then to the original size again. I think we can increase that even more. Yeah, that's just a tiny bounce. You barely see it, but sometimes those little details make all the difference. Okay, back to the edit thing. Let's see. Give it a second to cache. Rolling out here. Now it should play smooth. Yeah, I think the wink feels awesome. There we have it. Okay, looks kind of fine animation-wise, I think. Yeah, I would leave it at that. The only thing we need to do now is like add a title. Just a regular title one. Like what did we say? Let's say stream starting soon, right? Or maybe let's make it 2 lines and actually move it into the background so the head is staying above that. And go back to the text node and let's make it a bit bigger. Line spacing can move closer together. Let's change, I don't know, another font. I have no clue. I have an idea. Comic Sans, the font to rule them all? No, not sure. What's the meme font impact? Let's go with that. And let's put something into the background. Maybe a color gradient. Let's change the colors a little bit. Upper right corner, more in this direction. Lower, let's go for darker ones. Yeah, let's keep the cyberpunk theme going. Let's have the light ones here and down here really dark. Maybe go back to something like this. There we go. You know what? Let's do something funny, because like before he rolls around, let's give the text a cut here and move it above the layer. So the head rolls kind of behind the text back into position. So we have, yeah, so we fake some depth. Yeah, now we have like kind of a three-dimensionality. I think that's funny. And that would be it basically. Now you just need to export it, go to the deliver page, and I don't know, export it in the format of your choice, probably WebP. WebP. Yeah, you heard it right. WebP. Also important to have, well, in this case, we don't have any alpha channels, but if you would have, let's say you don't have a background, a gradient, you could export this with the alpha channel, so with transparency. WebP, animated WebP supports transparency and is very, very, very good at the quality. Try out, I don't know, you have to check for the file size. It's kind of pretty small for a pretty good quality with transparency. So you can use it perfectly in OBS to put it on top of, I don't know, another background or whatever you might have already or want to use. So yeah, I guess that's it for today. Or maybe I have one stupid idea. I know there's one thing. Let's delete the color. We have one of the default, that might be actually something, one of the default animations. Yeah, let's go with this. It's perfect for starting a stream. You know what? Wait. How do we do this? Let's go. This one, and the curtains have to be above that. Right, so yeah, the head is here. Curtains open up. You see the stream starting soon. Text, we're gonna move that. We're gonna move that over here. So that's the position where I'm thinking about. Actually, we need the rolling back of the head. The head needs to be behind the curtains. So we're gonna cut our fusion composition of the head animation, also here at this position. I'm gonna move that behind. Behind the curtains and the text too. So the text is always covered for sure. Yeah, actually I don't need that separated anymore. No, wait, I need it separated. Wrong thought. I need to put it here. So the text is above the head, but everything is behind the curtains, except the first part of the animation is in front of the curtains. I mean, it's a default animation, but yeah, it was a stupid idea anyway. Okay. Yeah, that was fun. Let me know if you want to know anything else. I'll try to figure it out. I mean, I'm learning as well, doing all of this. So yeah, let me know. Would be fun.